Jaron Ennis says, fight me or get it together. Is the Errol Spence Crawford super fight dead because of Keith Thurman? What's good, everybody? It's your boy, Cardinal Red Sports. Let's talk about it. Alright, y'all. So the big homie Boots, he recently gave an interview, man, and he spoke about whether he thinks that the Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford super fight will actually take place at 147 or 154, and if it doesn't, will either guy choose to fight him?
Well, how they gonna do that when they don't got no belts? You know, everybody want to see him with, fight for undisputed and stuff like that. So with them fighting at 54, it wouldn't really make sense. It would make more sense at 47. So like I said, I don't know what they gonna do. I don't know what they got going on, but hopefully they get it together fast or fight me.
See, I used to nickel and dime and move the hard squares. It's ill how to turn small bills to large heads. Nigga, this 100 large head. You don't got counted as all there. Only smoke weed with orange head.
You know, Boots, I think, might end up getting screwed in this situation when it comes to getting a big money fight with one of those two guys. But at the end of the day, I think that it might end up even better for Boots, because if Errol Spence goes along with the plan of fighting Keith Thurman at 154 and then coming back down to fight Terence Crawford at the end of the summer at 147, then relinquishing the titles, Boots, I think, is in prime position to walk right in and at least pick up the IBF title. If they don't just hand it over to him, then I most definitely think there'll be some type of title eliminator to where he won't even have to fight within the title eliminator. There'll be other people fighting to see him for the championship belt. So I think in that aspect of it, it could benefit Boots. But I think time will tell. I don't think Boots wants to keep waiting around. Plus, I think he wanted the chance to test himself against what is perceived to be the best of today. And on top of that, he wanted to do it for all those titles. Errol Spence is not just a big name or a big payday. He has 3 titles. So it comes with a lot if you're able to pull off a victory versus Errol Spence Jr. So I think at the end of the day, Boots was focused on that, and I think Boots more than likely will still try. He said he'll fight him at 154, but I think if Boots is able to pick up at least one belt at 147, then he'll most likely forget about the Errol Spence fight and start focusing on the up-and-coming guys, because hopefully Josh Taylor will be making the move up here pretty soon. There'll be another name in the 147 hat. There are a lot of other names. Rashad Ellis going to make his comeback here soon. You still got Terence Crawford out there. It's going to be interesting to see how all of this plays out. If those two guys, let's say they don't fight in the summertime. Let's say Errol Spence fights Keith Thurman and then just holds on to the titles until the end of the summer and then immediately drops them. Because in my mind, this is what Spence is trying to do. It's already well known that Charlo plans on making a move up to 160. So I think Errol Spence is going to at least wait till Charlo's next fight, see how that plays out if he does well, and see if Charlo drops the titles. If Charlo drops the titles, then he subsequently will most likely drop the titles, make the move to 154, and go after those titles. But I think after the Thurman fight, we're going to have sort of a long wait, maybe 6 months, until Errol Spence's next fight. Because I think he's definitely going to play off of whatever it is that Charlo does. Unless those guys work it out somehow to where they fight each other. But I don't think that's going to happen. So if it plays out in that way to where he fights Thurman, beats Thurman, holds on to the belts to the end of the summer, to the end of the year, doesn't fight Crawford, and Charlo takes his next fight, wins, and then drops his titles, moves up, Errol Spence drops his titles and moves up, then, what does Crawford do at that point? Does he immediately move up and try to pursue an Errol Spence fight without any titles involved? Because I totally agree with Boots. That fight makes no sense without the titles. I said it in one of my other videos the other day that the real reason that fight was so big was because of the titles. So in my mind, I think that Errol Spence is smart enough to know that a Thurman fight can happen at 54 without the titles, and then I can make that Crawford fight my last 147 fight. Because if you look at it from a business standpoint, because I look at it like this, the Thurman fight makes no sense. Why not go straight into a Crawford fight? It'd be really lucrative, and then you can escape the 147 division that you say you want out of so bad. But I guess he feels like, well, I can take the Thurman fight, nothing's on the line, and then I don't mind coming back down, because I would have got such he's going to get a good payday off the Thurman fight, even though I don't think it's going to sell super well on pay-per-view, because a lot of people are hip to the fact that Thurman's kind of over the hill. So I don't think too many people see Thurman beating him, but I think it's going to do well enough to where Errol Spence gets a nice bag of money, similar to what Terence Crawford just did with the David Ennis fight, but with a better name. And then he'll take the Terence Crawford fight, get a big bag of money, and escape the welterweight division. Now, if it plays out in either one of those scenarios, because it can only be one, if it plays out in the first scenario with the Charlo situation, then I think it's going to be ugly for Boots, because Boots is going to be in a situation where he might still pick up the IBF title, but he's going to go through hell trying to get the rest of the belts, because there will be 2 or 3 other guys plus Terence Crawford, all in the mix for those belts. So you're talking about 2, maybe 3 years worth of fights that Boots is going to have to go through before he could possibly be the undisputed, or there could be crowned another undisputed welterweight champion. It's all just makes a big mess. I wish that Errol Spence would have went about this a little better, but I guess with the landscape of the welterweight division, Charlo moving on, it's all about timing, and Errol Spence is trying to strike while the iron is hot. The Thurman fight, I'm upset about that. But if he takes the Crawford fight immediately after, I'll accept it as just, a tune-up. He wanted to take a tune-up. Even though he said he don't need tune-ups, and even though he said he would never fight Keith one-time Thurman. I guess you can never say never. Y'all let me know what y'all think about all that down in the comment section below. Hit that like button for me. Share. Subscribe. Holler at me on all social media platforms. Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. More than likely get a response on the tube. So holler at me over there. And we are mad.
Monster Squad on the beat. Yeah, they out. I know niggas that smoke the blunt and then eat the roach like Fur Factor. I ain't a queer rapper on a John Deere tractor. I'm a real nigga. Let me say it again. I'm a real nigga, and I'm playing to win. Lewis Keys finna kill him with the flow. Weed man, show me love, give him 64 or O. That's why I ride around cigarillas full of dro. Now you a real nigga, you a nigga that should know. But if a nigga don't know, now he does. If he wasn't talking shit, treat him like he was. See, I'm just a young nigga trying to get a buzz, either off a CD or a couple buzz. Yeah, them little dimes wanna fuck with us, cause we got a few drinks and a couple drugs. With an attitude like, fuck your favorite MC, unless it is me, Lewis Keys. To what I say, Louisville niggas getting killed every day. Nigga trying to get a little money every way. From the streets to the stage, trying to get paid. They hear your boys with some heat and they all fat. They see your boy on the streets and they all fat. Monster Squad on the beat, yeah, they all fat. I might chill with a freak, yeah, I'm no gangster, but I know players that'll run in your crib like Cosmo Kramer. But it ain't a sitcom, a nigga spit bombs. I hope you're coming for war, I'm coming with Nam. Viacom, even the realest niggas sang along. Even the baddest bitches bring them home with me. And here's a heads up, you can go and get the doctor. A straight shot, I hit your papa in his knickerbocker.